Hi guys, I hope everybody's doing well today. I just wanted to make another video about another very commonly asked question that I get, and that is what do I write about? Especially because I have small handwriting, I have even more space to fill, and I always give really basic answers in my comments or DMs when I'm asked this question, and I always feel bad because the short answer is I write about everything, but I know that doesn't really make sense if I just say it like that. So, this is a way for me to have a video to refer people to when I'm asked this, just because, like I said, it is a very common question that I get. So, the short answer is everything. I know you guys are not here for the short answer, but that is essentially what the answer is. I will be flipping through my planner just to show you guys some examples. Hopefully I can find some examples because for some reason I always forget where I place everything, but we'll see. We'll try to find some. But I do write about every single thing that happens in my life on the days that nothing happens, which is very frequent because I live a predominantly boring life. I'll fill in the gaps with other things, which I will go into detail about. So let us get started. Number one are, of course, the easiest things, and these are just day to day things. I work in hospitality, and working with the general public is a very interesting experience. So, I have a lot of content to write about, for which I'm very thankful. But yeah, I write about things that happen on a day to day basis. For example, right here, I had this guest call me looking for his receipt. 15 minutes I spent on the phone with this man, bless his heart. And after 15 minutes, I got tried first name, last name, confirmation number. I was about to ask this man for his social to try to find his reservation. Could not find it, right? So I asked him, and I always feel really bad asking stupid questions, but you have to ask them because of this situation. I said, did you stay in this state? There is only one of my company in my state. We have other ones that are spread across the US, but in my state, it's only this one. So you cannot confuse it with a different location. So I asked him, did you stay in my state? He said, yeah, I stayed there. I said, okay, no problem. Let's keep looking. Another 2 minutes or like 3 minutes I spent trying to look for his reservation, could not find it. So I asked him to email me the reservation with the confirmation because maybe I'm missing something, right? Maybe I'm just not seeing something. Maybe I'm mishearing him over the phone, whatever. I wanted to take a look at it myself. He emails me over the confirmation. The first thing I see is Washington, D.C. I said, sir, you told me you stayed in my state. He said, no, I stayed in Washington, D.C. I said, all right, sir. That's no problem. You're just gonna have to call them because our systems are not linked. I cannot find your reservation through my system. It is like per state. And he's like, okay, thank you. Sir, I hope you're doing well. But please, I need an explanation as to why. He told me, he said yes. And mind you, Washington D.C. and my state do not sound alike. But when I asked him if he stayed in my state, he said yes. I'm gonna need an explanation for that, but for now, let's move on. But yeah, so I have a lot of interactions and events that happen at work that I do write about, so I'm lucky in that sense. But if I have a really slow day with nothing to write about, I'll try to find other things around me that I notice throughout the day. Sometimes, and I know it sounds silly, but I swear I do this, sometimes I will find a cloud that like maybe strongly resembles something, or I'll write about the weather change, or maybe something I noticed on the drive to work, or on the drive anywhere, or maybe on a walk anywhere when I was taking my dog out, anything like that. If I notice something interesting, or I'm eating at like one of my most favorite restaurants or a new place, I'll write about it. For example, I went to go try this latte. It's an ube tiramisu latte. I will show you guys the photo because my little ugly sketch over here does not do that thing justice. I'll insert it here. Yeah, so whenever I have something just pretty much that happens on the day to day, of course I'll write it, but that's the easiest answer. Number two are memories and just anything from my past, just things that I may be coming to terms with now. I have a wonderful family. I didn't have a wonderful upbringing. I think there were just circumstances, in my childhood in which I think I had to grow up a little faster than I should have, or just try to understand the world faster than I should have. And I just write about them now that my brain has fully developed and I can make sense of things. So I'll write about my past, or maybe I'll just write about like funny, things that happened with my family. I'm an only child, so I never really had like sisters, brothers, of course, I never had that, but I had cousins, and I had really fun times with them. I always had to fly to go see them, or they had to come to me. But regardless, it was still really fun. And I'll write about that. Maybe I'll write about vacations that I went on that I want to go back on. I write about that frequently. I think about traveling all the time. My family live in Greece right now, and I miss them so much. I haven't been back in Greece since 2018, so it's been a while. So of course I want to go visit them soon, go visit the islands again, because I've been to Santorini and Mykonos. Beautiful. And I will never forget how amazing it was. So I'll write about that. My mom lives in Russia right now. I haven't seen her in 6 years, 6 or 7 years, I believe. So, it's not really the past, but I'll write about experiences with my mom that I had in the past. So that's just another really fun thing that I write about. A lot of people think that you have to pay attention to the dates on your planner. I don't do that, just because, like, let's say, for example, this says the 3rd of June, does not mean that I'm gonna necessarily write about things that happened on the 3rd of June. I'm just gonna write about anything, thoughts, ideas, because this is the day that I had them, if that makes sense. So it doesn't have to be, like, journals don't have to be something that is happening to you in the present. They can be a collection of memories, past, present, future, anything like that. That's kind of what I go off of. Number 3 are future plans, or writing for your future self. This is something that I do frequently because I think about my future a lot, as do all of us, right? I'm sure. So this is one of my most, I guess, emotional entries. I know it doesn't sound that emotional, but it's something that I really want to have later on in life. Sooner the better, of course. But I want my career and my life to revolve around crafting. And I don't know, I guess I was just feeling really emotional this day. And all I thought about was like having this vision of being in a craft room, or waking up and knowing that all I have to do is worry about what am I going to craft today. And I couldn't get that thought out of my head. So I wrote about it. That is me writing for my future self. Because maybe I won't want that in 5 years. Maybe I won't want that in 10 years. Maybe I will have that in 5 or 10 years. Who knows, right? So when I look back on my planner, I get to say, oh, look at that. This is something that I wanted to have. This is something that I was thinking about doing. And I either made that happen for myself, or I didn't make it happen for myself. What can I do to achieve it if that's still something I want? So pretty much this is also a very, very reoccurring thing in my planner. I love writing about the future. It's fun. I like having goals. I like having ideas and things to work towards. My advice, if this is something that you want to do, is you can write about your emotions leading up to something that you're looking forward to, preparations that you're taking, what you hope to do, things like that. And if you're finding yourself to be anxious about something that maybe hasn't happened yet, write it down and think to yourself why it's happening. Why are you feeling the way that you are? Nothing's happened yet, you know? So you can see the words in front of you rather than keeping them grounded in your head. That's the whole purpose of journaling, is for you to have an outlet to express yourself. I frequently write about trips I want to take. For example, Japan is on my mind 24/7. Like I just told you guys, I want to go to Russia, Greece, I want to do all of that, so I write about it when it pops in my head. Our futures are important and they should absolutely be written about. Number 4 are doodles. This is the absolute easiest way to fill space in your planner. I do it sometimes, but other times I'm too lazy to draw, and this is crazy because I'm an artist. But I always tell people that it doesn't have to be some magnificent work of art unless you want it to be. If you had a cool meal, doodle about it. I drew my baby girl in my planner. I got her a bow a few weeks ago, and she's never looked at me with such resentment before, even though she looks so beautiful with it. She's not a fan. And I had to draw her because I just thought she looked absolutely beautiful, while hating every part of me. And that's cool. She's kind of like one of the things I put some sort of effort into drawing because she's my Ellie and she deserves the effort. But aside from that, I have this little sketch for one of my favorite video games that I finally picked up. Played Hollow Knight. I haven't played Silk Song until this day, which is illegal because it came out a year ago. This is from one of my video games, Call of Duty Mobile. This is from the season finale of The Boys. So I'll sketch here and there. I don't think I have anything. Yeah, I don't have anything recent. But yeah, I'll just sketch. And I always do want to tell people that you do not need to be an artist to doodle. Putting something down on your page is much more important than making something look good. If you want to just draw a smiley face, start with a circle. You already did 50% of the work, and you can always come back later to add details if you want to, but at least you have something on that page. You did the hard part. You don't need to be an artist. You do not need to be an artist, and I cannot stress that enough. I know a lot of us post on social media and we want everything to look cute and make sense, but remember, it is your planner. It only ultimately needs to look good and make sense to you. Number 5, our lists. Before saying this, I probably should have flipped to a list. That actually would have been smart, but I know I had. Oh no. I went to Walmart a couple of days ago. And then we're back on this page. So, number 5 are lists. I love a good list. I don't write them too frequently, but I love when I have to because they take up so much space in my planner. So, for example, if I need groceries, I write them down, even though I know that I'm going to buy the same ingredients that I bought last time. I'm still going to write it down. If you want to make it different, add a new format to it, add some doodles, make it look cute, just so it's not the same thing over and over again, but just write the list. If you need other things, write them on the side somewhere, things like that. I'm going to start making clay charms again soon, so sometime, hopefully in the next month or two, I'm going to write a huge list. I have no idea where. We'll see, somewhere. I'm going to write a huge list that's going to contain everything that I need for clay. I've done clay before, so I already know, like off the top of my head, what I need to buy, but I'm still going to write it down because why not? It's a win-win, really. I have reassurance of everything that I need to buy, and I'm filling up that space in my planner. Number 6 are current events. There are things that happen all around us all the time, especially if you live in America. But it seems like we kind of haven't had a second of peace. I write about things that are happening in the world, things going on in my community or related communities, such as this little trademark fiasco that happened about a month and a half ago. If you guys had not heard, there was a creator who trademarked the phrase "hot girls read," and it was like outrage in the reading community, and absolutely justified because that is such a common term and it was not hers to trademark. That's super messed up. And luckily, I do believe that it got taken down, that she canceled it. I'm so happy for the community, and now all the small businesses can put their products back up because that word or that phrase should have been for everybody. So, I write about that. There was another thing that I wrote about. Let's see, I think it's another pink spread. Yeah, right here. Spirit Airlines shutting down. I thought that was crazy. The only airline in America that's never actually had an accident just got shut down due to bankruptcy. So I'll write about current events because it's something that's happening all around us. And just because it's not about me doesn't mean that it's not something that it's not something that I don't find interesting, so I'll write about it. Number seven are miscellaneous things. This is really another easy way to fill up space when you have nothing to write about. If you found a new song, write about it. This is one of my favorite things to do, as you see right here. I also have another song, I believe it's on the right hand side. Yeah, right here. I know this song already. It's from one of my favorite video games, but I rediscovered it this day and I was like, oh yeah, let's not forget that one again. Let's put it right back in my planner. So this is something that I do frequently. I used to write song lyrics and then quotes that I liked. I have a quote here that I absolutely love. I believe it's a yellow spread. I may have gone too far. I may have gone too far. No, I didn't. I don't think so. Let's see. I really should have prepared this. But I love that quote. It resonates with me so much. This one right here. When everything is lonely, I can be my own best friend. Again, only child, so didn't have much to do when I was growing up. But I learned how to entertain myself, how to be creative, how to keep myself occupied, keep myself busy, be my own best friend. So I write quotes that I like. I used to do prompts. I haven't done a prompt in a while, but I think this actually might be my last one. If your life was a color palette, what colors or which colors would it contain? I think that might have been my last prompt. Yeah. And then of course we have this song again. Very familiar with the song, but rediscovered it, love it. Oh, I didn't put the numbers on the side. That's okay. I haven't noticed for 2 months. I think I'll be perfectly fine. So yeah, and then if I watch a new show or something like that, I'll sketch out the name of it. Just really simple things that are bulky that you can add into the planner to take up space, especially on the days that you do not have that much going on. Lastly, and this one might not make sense. It might make sense. I don't know. We'll see. But number eight is nothing. You do not have to write anything in your planner if you do not feel up to it. There is nothing wrong with it. I used to do it in my old planners. I made myself a resolution for years that I wanted to fill everything in my planner with words and stickers. So I've been trying to stick to that. But in my other planners where I was just journaling for fun, if I didn't want to journal that day, I would just fill the space in other ways. For example, I would just decorate it with stickers, essentially scrapbooking in my journal, just stickers, stickers, stickers everywhere. Or if I had a full page that I really just did not feel like writing in, or a section in really big letters, and I would decorate them, or maybe I wouldn't. I would just write, I don't feel like writing today. That's it. That's all I would do. Because you don't have to write something every day. If you are trying to stick to it the way that I am, let's say I'm a little bit behind on journaling, so this is today, and I have this right here to fill in, and then I have to catch up on all of this. But let's say that yesterday I had nothing to write about, and I did have a slow day. I was off from work, so I really didn't have much to do. But let's say I really had nothing to write here. I would put, I have nothing to write in really big letters, just make them pretty. You can make them minimal, or you can make them really decorated. There's really no rule to it. And I don't know why we've convinced ourselves that that's wrong to do. Sometimes you're busy, or sometimes you have nothing to do. You're not busy at all. Again, like I said earlier, as long as you put something down on your page, that matters much more than what you put on it. I don't want you guys feeling guilty about having space left when you can just fill it in other ways. There's really nothing at all stopping you from doing that, and that's what makes journaling so fun and such a great hobby. I find it really funny that for a craft that has no rules and no right way to go about doing it, we are so hard on ourselves when it comes to it. There are so many things to write about, so long as you consider everything in your life significant enough. I do not want you guys to ignore the little things in your life just because you think they have no meaning. That is essentially what I live by and what I think about when I'm ready to journal. Look at things that you normally wouldn't look at and pay attention to details that you usually overlook. You will realize that you have a lot of things to record. Make connections with things and find inspiration from everything. If you use a dated planner, stop paying attention to the dates. I did this so often, and that is what limited my journaling as well, because it felt really weird to write about things that didn't happen on that day. But if something comes across your mind multiple times a week and it doesn't pertain to the day that you're writing on, what is stopping you, aside from yourself, from writing on that day? Don't limit yourself just because you think something doesn't fit or something is repetitive. For example, let's see. When I needed to fill space, I wrote about Little Craft Fest. I was an instructor here in late April, and on the days where I had nothing to write about, I would write about Little Craft Fest. So every single page has something about it in the month of April, and I think even some in March. But I didn't care about being repetitive because it's something that was on my mind all the time. And it's a great way to fill space, even if you have something here in your planner, something here in your planner about the same topic. Write about it. Fill up that space with at least something. Another quick tip that I have is to write things down as they happen in your notes on your phone so that you don't have to struggle to remember things later. I'll insert with what my notes look like right now, just so you guys can see, but I have everything dated, and then I take literally 2 seconds out of my day if something happens, unlock my phone, go into the notes app, write a little cliff notes of it, move on. That way, for example, today, when I'm finally ready to journal, because I've had a tough week. So I haven't journaled in a week. I don't remember what happened a week ago, but my notes app does. So now, after this video, when I'm ready to sit down and journal, I know what I have to write down. And that helps me a lot. If you don't have your phone handy, piece of paper, write it on the back of your hand if you have to. But make sure that you record what is happening so that you do not have to struggle to remind yourself later. Because I found that was another reason that I stopped journaling frequently, was because I just didn't remember what I had to write about. And I know I said that I was going to add one more thing, but I swear one more thing. Probably two more things. Okay. One word of real advice that I would give you guys is to not force yourself to journal every day. This right here is not me journaling every day. I just don't do it. And that's not realistic. And like I said, I haven't journaled in almost a week. But I make sure to fill everything in my planner when I do journal. And that is what I want you guys to do so that you do not get overwhelmed. Because if I journaled every single day, I would be burnt out. I'm already burnt out and I don't journal every single day. So imagine me being the lazy person that I am, forcing myself to journal when I just don't feel like doing it. It will no longer feel like a hobby and like something I enjoy, and it will start to feel like a chore. And nobody likes chores. I don't care that I'm an adult. I hate chores. This is why I take note of everything that happened, and I'll just write about it when I'm in a better headspace, because that's just what people do. There are people who journal every single day, and oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. I'm not that person. I've never been able to be that person. There are times when I can maybe journal, like 3 weeks consecutively, but after a month, I'm gonna need a break. And it's perfectly fine to take breaks, guys. Please, it is perfectly okay. Nobody's mad at you. The only person criticizing you for taking a break is yourself. As long as you have it in your mind that you are going to take a break now, but return and fill everything in later, take that break. And again, even if you do not fill everything in later, still take that break and figure out another alternate way to fill the space in your planner. This is my first planner in which I have been consistent daily, and daily means, like I said, not writing every day, but just filling everything in. Please do not be mad with yourselves if you are not journaling consistently, because it really makes me upset when people leave me comments or message me asking me why they're unable to fill in their planners when I make it look so easy. Even now, it's not easy. No part of me would ever say that it's been easy. How you guys look at me is how I look at a lot of people in the journaling community who have been doing this for years. Again, this is my first planner. My other two, like my Habanichi and my Take a Note, gaps, month gaps. Like I'm talking about, I did my thing in January, February, March, and then April, I believe. After that, fell off. Just fell off. And I'm not mad at myself for it because look at my planner now. What really helped me was finding my style. In my Habanichi, you can tell I was just kind of writing things. I didn't really know what I was doing. Everything was different. And I struggle with this still a little bit because sometimes I look at my spreads and I'm like, there is nothing different about them. Like, I mean, sure, like different stickers and things like that, different colors, but ultimately it just looks the exact same way as every other spread. But I've had to teach myself to not give myself that criticism because that is what allows me to journal consistently. Because I don't have to think about what my next spread is going to look like because ultimately I know what it's going to look like. I think if you guys find your own style, it's going to help you greatly finding a way to journal consistently. That is also why if you see my last video on here is why I set up my spreads in advance, because all I have to do when I sit down is not fill out a blank page. I'm not looking at this. This is intimidating. I'm looking at a pre-made spread where all I have to do is just fill in the blanks, right? I said this in the last video and it's really what helps me. But I'm also able to do that because I know what my spreads are going to look like. I know my style. I've developed my style. And if you guys need to take inspiration from anybody else, take the inspiration, but do not copy it 100%. You need to add something that makes it yours so that you want to stick to it. But there's nothing wrong with taking after somebody whose style you like. But yeah, that is one of my biggest things. I don't think I would be journaling consistently if I didn't have my style. It's just how my mind works. I know what my spreads are gonna look like, and I'm able to tell my brain, hey, this is super easy. Just sit down and write. Even though, like I said, we're gonna ignore this very tough week. But like I'm saying, I found a system that works so well for me and that really helps me keep up with it. A lot of times that's also hindering your progress, but I do not want you guys to rush that process. It took me years of finding what works for me to get to where I am now. So I'm gonna end the video off with this. I always find it really upsetting whenever people ask me how I make filling in my spreads look so easy. And when I ask them why they think they can't do it, they say it's because their lives are kind of boring. And I understand that. Life is ultimately, however, as boring as you perceive it to be. You don't need to lead an activity-filled life. I do not lead an activity-filled life. I go to work, I come home, I game, chill with my animals, and repeat. That's it. That's really all I do. With some drawing and maybe like a date or two mixed into it. Like, that's it. I don't go on trips. I haven't been on a plane in like 3 years. I really don't do anything that exciting. The most exciting thing about my journal, the most exciting thing about my life is my journaling and my art. That's the only thing that I really can say is a fun factor in my life. But to make up for that, I pay attention to what happens around me so that I can fill in the blanks. We so often overlook small things around us just because they're not impacting us directly. But that is the entire opposite of what you should do. There is an art in noticing. And I want you guys to remember this whenever you think that you see something that's not worthy to write. There is an art in noticing. Notice everything. Your planner is yours and it's about your life, and it deserves to have every aspect of you in it, no matter how mundane you might think something to be. Think about your past self or your future self reading this planner. What would you look for? Would you not want as many details in here as possible? Wouldn't you want to think back and say, look at something or look at this thing that I noticed that I would never pay attention to now? Or look at this thing that had me mad, upset, aggravated, happy, that I got resolved, or that doesn't trigger me anymore. Write about everything. Just fill the space in. And like I said, getting something down in your planner, and I will stress this until the end, getting something down is the hardest step. Making it better is secondary. Just get something down. Just get anything down. You can add to it later. I think I'm done rambling. Again, I'm sorry if I talked too much but didn't really offer any advice. I just did kind of go off of what I journal about. Hopefully everything made sense, but please, I ask you guys, be kind to yourselves, and please remember to always preserve the beauty of penmanship. I love you all so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.